Okay, so here's an example of what you can do with 20 pounds of boneless pork loin roast. Hey everybody, today on Butcher Shop Tabletop Video, we are going to be featuring our number 11 freezer bundle. So that is 20 pounds of boneless pork loins, as you can see right here. This is how it comes. You'll order it from us, and then they are already wrapped in 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 pound roast sizes. So we've had a lot of questions of what we can do with this, so we're going to do a demonstration today of all the stuff that you can do with 20 pounds of pork loins. I've got 20 pounds worth of pork loins set aside, so you can either thaw all of them at once and end up with a whole bunch of loin roast that you can work with, or you can just do one at a time for each of these. So you could obviously, so first of all, the pork loin is the centerpiece on the hog, so it's just a solid muscle with a fat cap on the outside. You can use these for pulled pork if you'd like. Pork shoulders might be a little bit better for shredded pork or pulled pork. They have a little bit more fat throughout, where this is more of a solid muscle. So this is also where the pork chops come off of. So if you simply just cut the ends off, then you can make pork chops. So you don't have to do just pork loin roasts. You can cut these into pork chops. So there's some pork chops that come out, some stir fry. So all you'll do is cut really thin, and then after, you can either trim the fat off, or you can just cut them into strips this way. I'm using the Hardcore Carnivore disposable cutting boards. They come in a pack of 30. And you can just use them for whatever you're doing, and then just throw them right in the garbage, so it's super easy cleanup. So here is the pork stir fry. I'll put that in a bowl. You can also do pork stew meat. So I'm going to take off a little bit of this fat that's on here. When we cut these for freezer bundles, we leave the fat cap on because the loin roast is really lean, and you want a little bit of fat. So I'm going to take some of that fat off, where I'm going to do stew meat. We'll cut these similar to how we did the pork chops. But now I'm just going to cut them into thicker pieces, similar to what I did with the stir fry, but not cut quite as thin. So you can also use some of these center pieces if you want to do kebabs, and you can put those on a skewer. So stew meat or kebabs out of that piece. Turns out really good. Okay, so out of that one little loin roast, we got chops, stir fry, and stew meat. Something that we sell here at the shop that's really popular are boneless baby backs. So let me show you how to do boneless baby backs. They're really simple. So with this pork loin, you're gonna cut it right in half this way. Then this is the bottom piece, that's gonna be the leaner one. That's the top one, that's gonna have a little bit of a fat cap. Now when you score this, I like to use this piece of my knife, and I put that right to the table. That leaves a little bit of a gap so I don't cut all the way through. So you'll push it down, which leaves it still hooked together on the back, but that is what separates those, so you can get all your stuff in here. We'll do another one on here. Out of these shoulder pieces, so you can see this one's still the pork loin. On this end, it looks a little bit different. This is right where the shoulder piece comes off, so the Boston butt would be connected right here. On this end, it's really good as a roast, or I like to do country style ribs out of this one. So country style ribs, you can cut about a 2-inch, 1.5 inch, 2-inch, put it onto its side, and then cut it again. And then that makes really nice country style ribs. These are really good for the Dutch oven or the crock pot. That way they'll break down. Really nice for camping. You can see there's a little bit more fat in this end, which is why they are really good for the country style ribs. So let me show you how to do the stuffed pork chops. So this is our regular boneless chop. You can kind of use that to see how thick. This is about 3/4 inch is how I like to cut my chops. So for a stuffed chop, you're gonna look 3/4 inch. You can do a little bit, you can do a mark to show yourself a guide. Then you're gonna do another one, which is where you're gonna make your cut. So it's 2 pork chops into one, and then how you make the pocket is you're gonna cut on an angle into there. Then you're gonna come through until this side, and then raise your knife up to get a pocket on that side. It's nice and even on the sides, so that way it'll cook evenly. You wanna make sure that this cut that you make here is also as thick as it is on the sides, so you don't end up with a really thick piece of pork chop. Same thing on that side. You only want them so that they're open. So we can do another one. So you can stuff these with some breading mixes. There's instant breading mixes that you can use. Just add a little bit of water and seasoning to stuff into those. You could also do, for stuffing, you could do like pie fillings. So mix up some pie fillings and stuff in there and then cook them that way. Okay, so now we're gonna show you how to do the spiral pork loin. So you'll see on this side, this tail piece comes around. We're gonna follow that same and then do a spiral right in the middle of that so we can roll it up. So you're gonna turn this and cut from this way. You'll cut just right down from the top. This is another good roast that you can use to stuff. So you can put vegetables in here, you can put ham in here, you can put bacon in here. So you're just gonna cut right along that seam so it's nice and flat. And then I'm gonna turn it. Now I'm gonna be cutting across the bottom. And make sure I don't break through the bottom. I'm gonna roll it and then keep that same thickness going. This turns out to be a really cool roast for dinner, for Sunday, if you're having company over. It's really good for a holiday, be good for Christmas. Nice little fancy Christmas roast, be cheaper than a prime rib. So now that we've got that cut all the way across and it's laid wide open, I'm gonna come from about halfway. I had about that much that I was working with. So I'm gonna come halfway and do one more cut right here, which will open that, and that's gonna give me that tight little spiral right in the inside. I'm gonna use the Hey Grill Hey Sweet Rub. That's their pork rub. It's gonna look really nice on here. We pulled this little flap, that's gonna be the inside spiral. Nice even seasoning across. Then we can lay some bacon. So we're gonna measure, so in this flap, we're gonna tuck this bacon right into that flap. And this goes right over top. And then the rest of these, cut this bacon, we'll add those after. Roll it right up. Keep it really tight. And come right over like that. That is what gives you the spiral. Right where the flap comes down, I'm going to put a toothpick in, and another toothpick in, and another toothpick in. And if you want to dress it up so it looks really nice, you can cut the front of that off, and then you can see that spiral. And it already has seasoning inside, so you don't need to season the entire outside. So a nice little covering right there, and that will be good. And then once we're done, easy cleanup. You can go right into the garbage, right into the washer. We're all done. Okay, so here's an example of what you can do with 20 pounds of boneless pork loin roast. So first we made some stir fry. So these are just bits of pork that we cut really thin. You can mix vegetables in with here, put a little bit of olive oil, cook it, just saute it up. Makes really good quick stir fry. Next, we've got stew meat pieces. These would be really good in the crock pot. Mix vegetables, cut some celery, some carrots, some potatoes, put them in a pressure cooker or in a crock pot, let them go. You can also, where you've cut these nice squares, you can do those as kebabs for skewers. Just season them up. You can mix vegetables with those, cook them on the grill. Next we have the country style ribs. So these country style ribs are individual cut ribs. You can put them in, great for Dutch oven, good time for camping. You can put them also in a crock pot, cook them slow, they'll start to fall apart. Next we've got the stuffed chops. These are all prepped, ready to go for your stuffing. You can do breaded stuffing, vegetable stuffing, even pie filling to put in here if you want kind of a sweeter dish. Cooking those on the smoker or in the oven for about 45 minutes. You can cook them at a lower heat at 280, or you can cook them a higher heat at 350, whatever you want to do. And then just internal temperature on those would be 160 since it's pork. And then these are our boneless baby back ribs. These are really popular. We sell them here at the shop all the time. You just rub the seasoning that you want in there, cook them on the grill just like you would regular baby backs, and then once they cook, they separate naturally, and then you can just finish cutting those off or just eat them as a rack. So here we've got our boneless pork chops, which is just the loin roast cut thin. So we've cut these about 3/4 inch to an inch thick. These will be great just on the grill or on the smoker, or you can do, one of my favorite recipes with pork chops is I get a casserole dish. We put about this many pork chops in the bottom, put 1 cup of rice, 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and 1 can of milk. Mix all that together and season it, cover it with foil, put it in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then when you pull it out, everything's nice and juicy and cooked, and you've got a nice pork casserole. That's one of the things that we cook at our house quite often. Our kids actually eat, so we really like that one. So next is just the regular pork loin roast. So this, you can do it similar, or just rub some seasoning across it, cook it in the oven, cook it on the smoker, and then after you would just cut it into individual pieces. So also we have our spiral pork roast. So cutting that thin all the way around, we've seasoned the inside with the sweet Hay Grill hay seasoning, and then lined it with bacon, and then used toothpicks to keep that flap secured on there, so that way as it's cooking it won't start to relax and unroll. So this is a lot of different stuff that you guys can do with boneless pork loins. We have those on sale right now with our freezer bundles. They're the number 11. You can order those on our website at binghamscustommeats.com, or come in to our store and we'll have those ready for you. So thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments if you have any questions or anything we can help you out with.
I love pork.